Good day, everyone. This is Juanita Kapp from South Africa, but today I'm not streaming from South Africa. I'm streaming from a little town called Temple in Texas, and it is super, super hot here today. It is summer, and I am blessed to be here on this platform with you. This year, Meticulous is doing a lot of traveling, so I'm in a lot of different locations, and I really feel it's important for me to keep the momentum going. And that's why, guys, I'm going to be streaming from different places, different times. But I want to thank you for your support. The Meticulous Moments audience, you have been phenomenal. The MAM group, the Meticulous Martial Arts Mastermind, you have been incredible in your support as well. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that are moving, that are coming together. We are putting together the third season of Meticulous Moments this year. And the MAM group is having their own Hall of Fame, and that's going to be in December 6 to 8. It's going to be at the Hilton Lincoln Center in Dallas, Texas. So for all your nominations, feel free to email me at meticulousmacarons@gmail.com. Reach out to me on DM on Facebook and Instagram. And with that said, I have another inductee with me on here today, and his name is Jose Escobar. I've known Jose for quite a long time. I work with him on the executive team at the Connected Leaders Academy. And he does so many good things out there in the world, building up businesses, just equipping people and enriching their lives with all his programs and his group, that I really felt it's time to have Jose. He's been on the show before, guys, but in season 1, but I really felt it's important to have him back so that we can discuss all the developments that have been happening, so many impactful things that he is busy with. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome him to the stage. How are you, Jose?
Wonderful. Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here, Jose. I mean, this has been an incredible journey. I actually celebrated interviewing you 2 years ago the other day. I think I sent you a message. The memory popped up on my Facebook, and I couldn't believe that 2 years have passed. Now, what has the last 2 years been like for you and the Connected Leaders Academy?
Well, first of all, the last time you and I connected, I don't remember how many members we had in the Connected Leaders Academy, but it was a handful of folks. I know it was a handful of folks, and now we're 425 members.
Wow.
Yeah, 425 members, and it's growing to the tune of one new member per day on average. And then our retention has been great. Now, is there attrition? There's always going to be attrition in anything, right? You can never keep everybody, and you can't keep everybody happy as well. And things happen in life. But I'm telling you, we're growing at an amazing rate. I was able to build a 7-figure business since we last talked.
Right.
I know when we first started, it was bumps and bruises. It was moving fast, but it was just it was at the infancy stage, right? And Connected Leaders Academy is one of my businesses. I have the Entrepreneurs Bookshop and the Connected Leaders Academy. A lot of moving parts have happened since then. I now host live events. I now have my own anthologies. I now do. I have my own mastermind. Of course, the CLA has grown massively. I have other coaching programs and courses now. We have a lot of merchandise, like all kinds of, like branded merch and different things of that nature. And I'm now a 14-time published author, best-selling author. At the time, I think I just was working on one book at the time. And
Right.
so a lot has happened from season 1 to today. A lot has happened for sure.
Absolutely, and I see that unfolding. I've been following you all this time, and we work together as well at the CLA, and it's wonderful to see how you keep going. I had a discussion with someone yesterday that they were kind of hitting a plateau, and that's when people start asking themselves, why are they doing what they're doing? Should they continue to do what they're doing? The doubt comes in, the questions start arising, they start to not acknowledge the goal anymore, they don't look at the goal, and that happens to everybody. And you are one of the people that's an example to me. It's always been an example to me of keep going. I remember that I was in South Africa, and my time zone was different at that time. So when the American time here 7 hours earlier than us would be, there would be things coming in. I would already be at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I remember sending, because that, you sent me an email that time. That were those were my normal working hours. I remember, I'm thinking back about something that happened. You sent me an email, and I had to send something out, and instead of pushing it over to the next day, I thought, let me do it now, because I haven't finished for the day. I'm going to do it now, and I'll never forget your response. Your response was, well done, winner. And that spoke to me, because I could have just put my laptop off, and left it for the next day. But from your example and the things that you teach us in your groups, I learned that it's good to keep that momentum, it's good to keep pushing, and it's good to get things done. And that's why I believe you are so successful. And the second reason why I believe you're successful is because you actually care about the people that you work with, whether they're in the group, whether they're on the team, whether they're friends and family. You care about the people that you work with. So tell the audience, what tenacity has it taken from you? What drive has it taken from you to get to this place where you are right now with your groups, and they're just growing, they're just exploding still.
So, first of all, I believe that a lot of what I'm doing today is the result of the fact that I'm a risk taker, right? And I say that in a timely way, because it just so happens that right next to me I have the book I just launched
Oh,
in Pennsylvania, Born to Risk with Emilio Roman. Shout out to Emilio
no.
Roman. And I'm chapter one in this book, and it's an amazing story, a bunch of stories about how people take risks. So one of the biggest underlying factors for me is the fact that I take risks. I take calculated risks, right? There's a difference between just taking a risk and taking a calculated risk. So I take risks. I'm not afraid to take risks. I'm not afraid to invest in myself. I'm always investing in myself, right? Warren Buffett says the best. He says the greatest investment one can make is an investment in themselves,
Yeah.
right? He says that all the time. The greatest investment one can make is an investment in themselves. And then number three, I'm a hard worker. I am very willing to put in the work, to roll my sleeves up, to put the hammer down and just keep pressing forward, whether I'm tired, whether I'm sleepy, frustrated, upset, confused. I mean, you name it. Anything can happen in business, because it's ebbs and flows, highs and lows, peaks and valleys. There's no such thing as a smooth ride, especially in business. That's why most people don't do it. So hard work is another thing. Another thing is commitment. I'm a person of commitment. If I say I'm in, I'm in. I'm either all in or I'm all out. But I'm not like poking things with a stick. So like marriage, right? I've been married now. I lost track, almost 9 years now, um,
Wow.
and have six kids. It's number six due in October, and and I'm a committed man. I'm committed to my wife. I'm committed to my kids. I'm committed to my business. I'm committed to the people that I serve. I'm committed, most importantly, to myself and to God. Right. So these are important things. And then another one, I lost count. I think number five is I'm a man of God, man of faith. Right. I put
Right.
faith above everything. I should have started with that, but I put faith above everything, because without God, there is no me, there is no family, there is no business, there is no life. Period. Right. Everything I filter through there. And if I had to do one more thing, it's definitely discipline, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very disciplined person. I believe in morning routine. I believe in evening routine. I believe in having a calendar and tracking your calendar and using a calendar. I believe in having structure to the day and not just going where the wind blows. So there are a lot of things that I identify with that allow me to do the things that I do. And the beautiful thing and the scary thing is that I'm just getting started. I've only been in business 2.5 years, right?
Wow.
So I'm very excited to see where I'll be in 10 years from now, assuming that I stay on the course, right?
Mhm.
Because again, we have to be our own cheerleaders. We
That's
have to
right.
believe in ourselves before anybody else can believe in us. And at the end of the day, we have to lead ourselves before we can lead anybody else to.
Absolutely. I really feel like the Holy Spirit is leading this conversation, because, I had a discussion with someone this morning about choosing faith over fear. And
Yep.
it was actually on the way to the office. I had this discussion with someone, and we were talking about me also being a risk taker. I'm kind of the person that jumps out of the plane and I build a parachute on the way down. That's how I do everything, and it's a working recipe for me as well, because I like to take risks. But I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to choose faith over fear. I'm not going to think about everything that can go wrong. I'm going to think about the goal, and I'm going to think about reaching that goal. And every day, I'm going to do my utmost best to get to the place where I need to be, and God will carry me through. He always, and then I talked about being in the ministry for 15 years and how I've seen the amazing things God does when we choose faith. And when we were trying to get on here, guys, we had some issues with StreamYard. Both of us, StreamYard was a bit slow this morning. I opened TikTok, and here was a preacher, and she was talking about choosing faith over fear. Every time that fear comes in, just to start speaking to God and say, God, I trust you, and vocalizing that. And I think it's very important also to note that in your journey, you are very vocal about what you aim to do, how you're going to do it, and what the goal is. People like that because they want to see the vision, and that's biblical. Where people don't have a vision, they perish, right? People want to see the vision because then they get invested in that vision, and then everybody works together to get to that goal. So you've had highs and lows. I mean, we all have. How do you stay positive? What is your mantra? Because you are very disciplined. You're a family man. I had the honor to meet your beautiful family in New Jersey. You're a man of God. You're very busy, and I mean, life does throw us curveballs. How do you stay positive? What's your mantra? What do you tell yourself when the enemy wants to try and come in and, make you despondent or tired, or maybe wants to put a little bit of depression in there?
Yeah, so a couple of things. Let me grab this here. I love this here, and this is from Ephesians. It's called "Putting on the Full Armor of God."
Amen.
All right, and I'll read this.
6:7.
Yeah, I'll read it here. It says, "Take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God." Right, Ephesians 6. And it talks about putting on the breastplate and the helmet and the armor and getting dressed to go to war every single day, because every single day is what I call spiritual warfare.
Right?
Right? It's a real thing. And it's not just, good times and bad times, or luck of the draw and coincidence. No, it's divine intervention. It's good versus evil.
Mm-hmm.
It is real things that are happening. There's forces that are working for us and forces that are working against us.
Right.
And we have to be prepared to take that on. So number one is, I'm a very much a prayerful man. I'm very much into my faith. I was born and raised Catholic, proud Catholic. I'm a Knight of Columbus, third degree, and I lead my family in that way. And
Amen.
that kind of keeps me grounded. It
Mm-hmm.
keeps me laser focused. It helps me understand that no matter what happens in a given day, sometimes it could be something related to a friend who is going through some hard things that affects me, or maybe it's a family member that's sick. And my son was in the hospital not too long ago in the ER for 5 days with breathing oxygen and stuff like that. And that was a scary time, right? Or maybe it's it could be financial hardship that hits you out of nowhere and things that happen, or it could be, an event that had to get postponed when I had to postpone my summit the first time. It could be all kinds of different things that will happen. And the thing that I know is that this too shall pass, right?
Amen.
I also believe in the Lord and his blessings. And I'm like, well, if I have God on my side, then that's the majority, and that's all I need. And I don't need to be concerned and worried about the
Right.
possibilities of all of the negative things that could happen, or why me, right? I have this thing on my wall that says fiat, right? Fiat is Latin for thy will be done. Let it be done unto me,
Amen.
right? Let it be done unto me. So, who am I to say, Lord, not me, or don't let this happen to me? Like, I'm like, listen, if this is your will, I'm going to see it through. I trust in you. And that's my process. So that is the big thing that holds me grounded at all times. No matter what happens in my life, I know this too shall pass. The Lord has my back, and in all things give thanks, even in the tough times, right? So, and then my mantra that I have outside of my faith, which is the bedrock of who I am and what I do and how I get through anything. My mantra is winners win, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have I use that hashtag all the time, winners win, and I always say winners find a way to win. right?
True.
So whenever the times are tough, or whenever things are not looking so good, or whenever I'm starting to my faith gets rattled a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember, you know what? No, winners win. Winners win. I always say that, well, Jose, winners win. What do winners do? They win. You know, winners find a way to win. And that idea, that mindset is what keeps me pressing forward. If I see a brick wall, I'm going to go around it. I'm going to go over it, under it, and sometimes you're just going to go right through that bad boy. But I will not be deterred. I will not be stopped. I will not lay down. I will not have a pity party. I will not make excuses. I will not be a victim. I am a victor, and I will see it through, and that's who I am in my heart of hearts.
Amen to that, absolutely. And as you've been explaining this, I've actually been hearing uh, things that connect to the armor of God. The
Yeah.
helmet of salvation. I believe and I trust that God is for me and that He saved us and that He's going to do everything in His power, and He's all powerful and omnipresent and omniscient, and He's got this. And
Yep.
then I have the breastplate of righteousness. What am I going to do? I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to choose to do the right thing. Doesn't matter what anybody else is doing beside me. I'm not going to look to the left or the right. I'm going to do the right thing because God will honor that faith and that righteousness. And then also the feet shot ready with the gospel. What are we talking about? We are inspiring people out there, and someone is going to hear this and they're going to turn back to God. We have the shield of faith. Our faith tells us that God is there. He's with us every step of the way. And then, of course, the sword of the Spirit. You put out that beautiful totem that you have, and you read the Word of God. That is our sword of the Spirit. God is for us. He's not against us. He's the author and the finisher of our faith. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever, meaning that He'll always treat us like His children. And I want to talk about the belt of truth. How important is it? Because we can't build businesses and lives and families and relationships if we are not living in the truth. How important is trust? And how important is it to win people's trust and to continue in that path when working with your family, when working in business, and when building a future?
Trust is critical in life when it comes to building relationships in
Yeah.
family and friendships and all that kind of stuff. But it's also critical in business too, because why do you think there are family members who don't communicate anymore? People that have shunned each other in family. Oh, I don't talk to my sister anymore. We're no longer friends. We never, or me and my dad are separated. We don't talk anymore. Or I have a disagreement with my mother, and we're no longer. I don't talk to her anymore, or we ignore each other. Like there's so many families out there that are severed,
True.
that don't talk anymore, and intentionally avoid each other because of trust. Trust is a huge thing. Now there's other factors, but I'm going off of trust, right? And same thing with business, right? All it takes. So in business and in life, it takes a long time to build the trust.
Mm-hmm.
You can lose it in 1 second. In 1 second, with one poor decision, you can lose trust that is very, very hard to gain back, right? So it's like the whole idea of momentum in business, right? When you have momentum and momentum's at an all-time high, that's going like this. Momentum is amazing. But
Builds
then when you lose it, as soon as you lose that momentum, yes, it goes to the ground. But then trying to regain that momentum is like going up an escalator that's going backwards,
right.
underwater. You're trying to go up an escalator that's going the opposite direction while underwater. Is like trying to regain that momentum, right? Yeah, just envision that. So same concept with trust. You cannot break trust with people.
Yeah.
Now, are there times where maybe you were exuberant and excited and confident, and you gave somebody your word and said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll see this through, I'll do it," and then you fall short?
Right.
Is that a breach of trust? Yes. But if you peel back the onion and you see the heart of the person, you see, okay, they made a genuine mistake. They truly had every intention to take care of me, or to do this, or to whatever. So maybe that's worthy of, okay, let me allow this person to rebuild that. But then you have other factors where you have like for example, somebody who tried to kill you, right? Or you have somebody heaven forbid, I'll just give an example that has nothing to do with me, so I don't create that. But let's just say, there was let's just say a husband who went out to get some groceries and came back and saw his wife with somebody, or the other way around, right? So like those types of things are really hard to come back from, if ever, right? So there's certain there's different levels of trust that you can
Yeah.
feel, right? So you got to look at what level of trust was broken, and was there an intent to be genuine about this, or was this just a really poor mistake and they weren't even thinking, didn't really care? That's a whole different level. So for me, trust is huge, and I understand that it takes a long time to build trust, and it's very easily removed if you just are not careful. So trust to me is very, very important, and I think it's critical and essential in relationship building, whether it's personal or professional.
I agree with you. I do agree with you. And I was thinking as you're explaining that, as you're articulating that so well, that I guess you have to take every situation by its merit.
Yes.
And, just always what I like to do is I always give people the benefit of the doubt. Because
Yes.
I don't know everything. And I also fall short of the glory of God. I mean, none of us are perfect. But if someone is genuine, and there really wasn't a situation that it was out of their control, of course there's always forgiveness, there's always a path forward. I do believe a lot of relationships are struggling out there because of things that we are bombarded with, Jose, and even businesses that we didn't face like a decade ago, and that's social media and how people act on social media and how they talk. I've seen people slandering each other on social media for no reason. And I
Yep.
think social media is amazing. I use it 150% of the time, but it also has its downsides. So I always just try to put out good energy out there and to love on people and to lift people up where I can. And that's something that I've
Yeah.
seen you do as well. You mentioned earlier today in our talk here, in our interview, if you are in, you are 100% in. And if you're not, then I know, because I know you. You refer them to someone else. You send them on the right path, right? So
Yeah.
it's very important that and I know this is something that you like to quote as well. As we rise, we lift. And it's important that we support each other, and that's what I think is so amazing about the Connected Leaders Academy. Is it is a group of individuals that are there to support and guide and learn from each other and teach each other new business principles and new ways to do things, and it's equipment and upliftment all the time. And that's refreshing because everybody as a collective are working together to make everybody connect them and network and make everybody do well, support them, advertise. So, what has that journey been like with the CLA, with the Connected Leaders Academy? I'm sure there's a lot of personal edification that you also receive from these amazing people from across the globe.
One thing I'll say before I tell you where we are now, and some of the journey of like what I've had to deal with, good and bad, right? I'll tell you right now. I have a mentor of mine. I used to work for him. His name is John Coquinos. So shout out to John Coquinos. He's my one of my best friends, Nick Coquinos' uncle,
Oh, Nick, right?
who owns EFC, Educational Funding Company. So they were founded in 1967, martial arts industry. They were the pioneers in the martial arts world of coaching and consulting. They had some of the best in the world that were part of their board of directors, like the Dave Kovars of the world, and all I can drop name after name after name of all these people that used to be back in EFC back in the day, 1967, and then it eventually just blew up. And now, so it was a really cool concept. I'm not going to go into all that, but I was working for them. I was a sales director for them for a number of years, and I enjoyed being there. And he became like a mentor to me, not like a mentor to me outside of being my boss, right? And one of the things that he would tell me is, Jose, whenever you have somebody who did you wrong
Mm.
or breached your trust or didn't follow through or did something that offended you or said something inappropriate, whatever, right? He said, before you just go and full on go into war mode or accusation mode or attack mode or all out assault of offense,
Yeah.
right? He said, ask this question to this individual. Juanita, listen, the
Yeah.
other day, this happened. I am just seeking to understand. That's the key words. He said, I'm just seeking to understand where you were coming from when you said this. Or I'm seeking to understand why this happened when we both know that this shouldn't have happened. I'm just seeking to understand. So that whole idea diffuses the how dare you, or what were you thinking, or why in the world would you do? like it doesn't come across as accusatory. It's the guard goes down. It's less aggressive, and it's just you being open. We have to be open to seeing the good. We have to be
Right.
open to seeing what the intention behind the act was. We have to be
Amen.
open to identifying these things before we just do this. But today's society, personally and professionally, everybody is so quick to cut somebody off
Yep.
and saying, "You are out of my life. I never want to see you again. Don't talk to me. Don't come into my circle. I'm, slicing you here." Like,
Right.
and people are so fast to
Yeah.
assume that somebody is out to get them. They're assuming ill intent.
That's
They
right.
don't think like maybe they just made a poor decision in the moment, but they're not out to get me. Or maybe they weren't talking about me. Maybe they were referring to about somebody else.
Yeah.
You know how many posts I've seen on social media where it's like an incognito statement where somebody's trying to like say, "Are you tired of seeing this?" Right?
Yeah.
And you can easily see maybe they're trying to talk about me. Are they talking about
Yeah.
me?
You're like,
You
what did
know,
I do?
yeah. And then you cut off this person or you reach out to this person getting all upset or it bothers you, right? Because we
Yeah.
are always assuming that people are out to get us. We always
That's right.
assume that people don't have the right intentions. We have to stop that. We have to stop that. We have to know that as long as we're living our life the right way, we're doing the right things with the right intentions, um, and we're just good people, right? What's going to happen is naturally, no matter how good you are, I don't care how good you are, as you grow and you build in business, you're going to have some people that are going to start talking about you, which is now
That's
going
true.
back to the point. You're
That's
going to have some people that are not going to be happy with a product or a service that you offer. There is going to be a time where people are going to say, well, you fell short on this because you said this and this is what I got versus what you said. Or by the way, when you did that, I thought you were in my corner and you're supporting that person who I
true.
don't talk to. And that's kind of like now they want you to pick sides of who you're going to be friends with or because they're not talking, right? And I can go on and on and on a list of things that I just don't have the time, energy, bandwidth, or resources to entertain. I just don't. Like I am like this. Like I love everybody. I
Okay.
respect everybody. I give people the benefit of the doubt. I
Yes.
seek to understand. I don't cut people off. I
No.
don't talk trash about people.
No.
Like that's just not who I am, and that's not how I'm wired. Now, because I'm that way, does that mean that everybody else has to be that way? No, because we're all human. So some people might be the gossiper type. Some people
Oh
might be
yes.
people that like to just insinuate and start fires among people. Some people
Yep.
might be the conniving person that smiles in your face and has a knife behind their back.
Right.
They're smiling. And all
Ready
those things. My job is just to do what I do at the highest level, right? Be prayerful, be trusting, right? Don't hold like these protectors so high where I'm not vulnerable with people because they're probably going to stab me in the back. No, and that's part of the deal of being vulnerable is you have to be willing to be hurt, right?
Yep.
So I've been hurt a number of times by some people, not a lot, but enough times to say that stings, that sucks,
That
right?
hurts.
Especially after I poured XYZ into somebody and then they come back and say
So
this
much.
or do that or whatever. And I'm like, well, that sucks. But guess what? I have to be vulnerable to the next person anyway. Because at the end of the day, again, we are not perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying that in
Right.
life, as you grow in business, there will be people that talk trash about you. There will be people that leave you. There will be people that just things happen, right? And there's disagreements and all kinds of things. But we have to be steadfast and understand that people are going to be people. The best thing we can do is lead, influence, and give our best. And at the end of the day, we trust that what needs to happen will happen. But we got to stop cutting people off. We got to stop talking about each other. We have to stop, backstabbing. We have to stop breaking trust. We have to stop all these things. I say we because we're not perfect. I don't recall doing those things, but hey, I'm throwing myself in the bucket because anything is possible, right?
Generalizing.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, it's been a fun journey. It's been way more good than not so good. Like good here and not so good here. Like little things have happened here and there, but nothing that's going to rattle my tree. Nothing that's going to like get me out of the game. And if somebody out there is trying to get me out of the game that I don't know about, you know what? I don't even think about it. It doesn't even bother me because I'm so
Exactly.
focused on what I got to focus on.
I agree with you, and I fully validate what you're saying there because I've lived it. Working with you have been just a pleasure. You never react, and you always respond. You're always polite, you're always professional, and you always give the benefit of the doubt, and you ask, like you've mentioned, how you do it. You ask, what is the situation there? If something goes wrong, or if there's a question. And that is the I believe the fuel for CLA, because we have a leader that does give people the benefit of the doubt. You don't focus on the negative things. You don't go down rabbit holes, and get pulled this side or that side. You are focused on your goal, and while you're being vulnerable with people, I don't think that's a negative thing, Jose. I think that is living life to the full. I'll
Yeah.
be honest with you. I'm vulnerable with people, and if they hurt me, I love them from a distance, and I'll still always be friendly and kind. And if
Yeah.
I'm vulnerable with people and they become my good friends and my family, or part of another part of my life, I'll walk the extra mile for them forever and ever. But you made such a good point. We have to be vulnerable with people, because I feel that is what living is all about. There's no time for masks. There's no time for facades. There's no time for smoke screens. That's all things that just deter us from where we want to go. I see a lot of these things on social media, and as you as well. It's distasteful when people, slander each other. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to remember, Jose said something very important right at the beginning of this. He said, "We are in a fight. It's good against evil." So you are fighting principalities and powers. It's not the people out there, it's the things that are working in on them. So let's all make sure we stay on the right side, we stay righteous, and we stay out there to do good things and to be good people. I think trust is very, very important. I think trust is broken daily. And I guess it's how we take it. I guess what we make of it, because when we shouldn't ask why, we should ask, how am I going to fix, am I going to salvage that relationship or friendship? And if you're in a
Yeah.
situation in your business out there, guys, and you're asking the why is this happening to me, rather ask, how am I going to fix this? How will I get out of this? Who can I talk to get some expert advice? And that's what's so lovely about the CLA as well. There's so many professionals. How many countries? I know, because I'm on the team, but I want the audience to hear, how many countries and states are we in now?
We're in 45 states across the US, and we're in 22 international countries. Cool places like France, Germany, Hong Kong, Pakistan, India, New Zealand, South Africa, Peru, Mexico, Malta, Scotland, England, Netherlands, Dubai. I mean, the list goes on. We're in a lot of cool places.
Amazing, amazing work. Absolutely fantastic. You've been in anthologies. You've also written your own books. You're a celebrated author, a prolific author. Tell the audience, how do you start writing? What is your inspiration when you choose that theme or that topic?
Yeah, so I don't say yes to everything, right? I say yes to calculated yeses because I get, as you can imagine, again, the more you do in business, the more opportunities come, but also the more distractions come. So
Yeah.
I have had a lot of people pitching me on so many different things of, hey, you want to be a part of this, part of that, part of that. And the reality is I can't do everything. Otherwise, I would have no time and I'd have no money because I'd be investing all over the place, right? So
It's
it all goes down to what speaks to me. So, and I'll give you an example. Like part of the strategies of where I put my time in anthologies, right, is how many of these people do I already know?
yeah.
That's question number one. Because if I already know pretty much everybody in the book, then I don't know if it's the right fit for me because I not only write because I love the topic or the theme, but I also write because it's a business strategy. It's a,
Yes.
okay, let's get into this new book so I can leverage that and I can access all these other people's audiences that I don't know, and then I can say, oh, okay, now let me get into their worlds and bring them into my worlds and see how we can collaborate or do some other cool things, which lead to all kinds of new opportunities. So if I pay like a couple of $1,000s to be in a book, then I want to make sure the ROI is at least four to five x, if not 10x, of right what I put into the book to get into it. And that's my thing. That's my secret sauce because I don't look at like people say 14 time. I don't really care so much about the number of times. I care about is there a return on my investment? Am I impacting lives at a high level? and does it make sense, right? Does it make sense on a personal and professional level? So, for example, this one here, Born to Risk, um, I love the idea of risk. So the topic itself spoke to me, right? And then separate from that, I'm like, okay, let me see who's in the book, right? So that mattered to me too. And then additionally from that, it's okay, what do I have a story? Do I have something that I've been through or that I know that's going to impact that and it's going to create the biggest possible legacy and long-term effect in the world, right? And
True.
this did speak to me. So I don't say yes to everything. There's another one, for example, called Through My Mother's Eyes. I have them all on my board over there. Through My Mother's Eyes, that hasn't even launched yet. That's launching this upcoming weekend, this weekend in
Wow.
Boston. So I'll be a 15-time author as of this weekend, Through My Mother's Eyes, with Pastor Patricia Juba,
Oh,
right?
yes.
And that book is a book of it's a chapter where I contributed my chapter honoring my mother, right? Of the story of how much I love my mother and a little bit of her story and that and then how I can resonate and connect with her, and that mattered to me too. So I was like, okay, that is something I want to be in, right? And so on and so forth. So I just select what makes sense for me, and when it comes to just writing the books, like I think it's a simple. We're in a day and age. I don't use Chat GPT, by the way, for my chapters. I don't do that. I know a lot of people do, and that's okay if you do. But I what I do, and this is my secret sauce. I sit down with my wife, and I'm open with it. I verbalize it. So I just start write
Speak.
or speaking my chapter, and my wife sits there and writes and types, and
Yeah.
I'm just like speaking it out loud, and then I sit down, then I go back and I look at it and edit it and I start seeing, okay, what can we change, adjust, and that kind of a thing. But that's how I do it. And it doesn't take me very long. And I've gotten many compliments from different chapters I've written books on, and it works really well. So just find a system that works for you. Anybody who's out there watching this and is like wondering if I should write a book, can I write a book? It sounds overwhelming. Anything that looks like this can be broken down into something that
Right.
looks like this,
True.
right? And then you make it look like this, and then like this, and like this, and you keep taking that next step. So anything can be broken down into small, simple steps, and that's my philosophy. And Dr. Obama, a great friend of mine as well, he always says something powerful. He says it's all about access and leverage,
True.
right? When you access anthologies with influencers and a lot of people, you're basically accessing a big network that you didn't have in your world before. And then I'm leveraging their fancy titles like international bestseller, right? So that's again access and leverage. So there's a lot of reasons why I do it, and of course that's a whole topic in itself in terms of how to do it. But I think anything that's difficult can be made simple if you have the proper steps in it.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. I've seen chapters being written out that are very, very big. And then when you go back, you because we have a word, a certain amount of words that we can use, but when you go back, you see that you could have written it in a different way to match
Yeah,
your words, still saying everything that you wanted to say. I know there's a lot of people out there using ChatGPT. I don't know how it works. I haven't looked into that yet. But for me, it's more organic to write what comes up because I'm the one experiencing it. I'm the
yeah,
one who went through it. So to me, it's more personal if you just write it in your own words. And we
yeah,
have certain phrases as individuals that we love to use, and I want people when they read that chapter about me, I want them to connect with me, knowing that that that's something Juanita would have said. But the
yeah.
CLA also brought out a fantastic anthology, and I was blessed to be a part of it. Dear Younger Me. So tell me a little bit about Dear Younger Me, because I know I'm an author in it, but the audience needs to hear about it.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal anthology that just dropped in May of this
Yep.
year at the Global Summit, the CLA Global Summit we had here in Maryland. And it's called Dear Younger Me, I Wish You Knew. So it's 15 powerful letters to your younger self, right? So imagine the stories and I already know all the stories because I read the book from beginning to end, and it is absolutely brilliant. It's so inspirational. There's so many amazing things that people had to overcome. Like sometimes you think you're the only one going through some stuff, right? Or you're the only one that had to deal with
Feels
XYZ.
like it.
No, yeah, there's so many others that have to deal with things. And this here, so Danica Treble is the visionary author of this because it's her concept, Dear Younger Me. and she had she's done this with other organizations too. And then we said, hey, let's partner and do it for the CLA. She approached me about it. Again, I don't say yes to all opportunities, but this collaboration made sense to me. So she came to me with the idea to do her kind of concept in the CLA. And I'm the one with the community. So this is me because it's my group, right? Connect Leaders Academy. And then there's Dr. Reed, and Dr. Oliver T. Reed is the publisher. Yeah, shout out to Dr. Oliver T. Reed. He's the publisher. So then here on the back, we have all of the amazing co-authors that contributed, that are at the time all CLA members, right? And just amazing people. I'm not going to read everybody, but just to name a couple. You're in here. Juanita Kapp is in here. Benjamin John is in here. Nick and Kelly Coquinos, they're a married couple. They're in here. Raul Marin, the wise wolf. Mark Cox is in here out of California. I mean, it goes on. Julia Gandhi. I mean, amazing people are in this book. There's 15 authors total, and this is an anthology. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm paying to get into everybody else's books out there. Right. I might as well create my own anthology, right? Mm-hmm. So this was the first one the Connect Leaders Academy ever did. Now we have other books that are coming out, like, for example, Thrive here, which has a whole number of other authors here, 25 authors to be exact, that come from our virtual conferences. This is the first one. We have our next one called Catalyze that launches this week. So this week we have another anthology of all of the authors from Catalyze, which is going to be this week. And fantastic. I was originally going to do like a series, Dear Younger Me, volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we decided to do a little pivot, and I will be doing another anthology for the Connect Leaders Academy. I'm dropping the news here, by the way. This is fresh news. I haven't released this information anywhere at all, so you're the first to know. The Connect Leaders Academy will do another anthology, not Dear Younger Me, but it'll be another anthology, and I'm doing it together with Dr. Oliver T. Reed. So we're going to do an amazing anthology that's going to be very robust, very exciting. The theme of it is going to be next level stuff. And this week, I'm going to roll out a public flyer talking about it and promoting it. But we're thrilled, we're excited, and the movement continues, right? Because my goal is to add as much value to entrepreneurs around the world as possible, so that we keep this thing going, right? Because it doesn't stop with a book or a course or a speaking engagement or a live event or a merchandise or a mastermind. Like, this must continue. We got to keep leveling up the game. We have to keep pushing ourselves and challenging ourselves. And ultimately, it's for the greater impact of world change. That's what we're here to do.
Absolutely. Global impact. I see it happening. It has been happening. It's going, it's growing in an exponential manner. And I'm super honored. Thank you for sharing that news for the first time here on Meticulous. That is a huge honor for me. I'm very proud to be a part of the CLA as a member, but also as a part of the executive team, guys. It's professional individuals out there with amazing hearts, fantastic skill sets, people that really are making big waves in the business world. And I have to say, when you went onto the authors list for Dear Younger Me, these are all people I know. They're all my friends. So we're not just a tribe, we're also a family. And if you want to become a part of the CLA, reach out to Jose, and connect with him. Have that virtual coffee with him and hear what it's all about. If you have any additional questions, we have summits, we have virtual conferences, there's meetings that run every week, and we're a close-knit tribe. And everybody that is a part of the CLA receives value. They are uplifted, and that's very important to me, as because when I started Meticulous Moments, my tagline has always been community upliftment through leadership development, and that's why I'm so happy at the CLA, because that's exactly what you are busy building. So I thank you so much for everything that you are doing, and also congratulations, guys, to the MAM group. We have people coming in for the Hall of Fame. I have a facilitator from Thailand, from the Netherlands, from the UK, also from Belgium, too, from the US. And we are going to have the Hall of Fame. And I'm inducting Jose in the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to make him Entrepreneur of the Year, because I've been on the journey with him. I've seen the incredible things he's doing, the family man that he is, the businessman that he is, the friend. And I believe that he deserves that award. He has worked very, very hard for it, and he continues to do so. So congratulations to you, Jose. Keep shining. And thank you for everything that you do for everybody. In essence, you do so much for people. I just want to say thank you from the Meticulous Moments audience for who you are, what you do, and thank you for not being shy to speak about your faith. I think that's something that people need to start bringing back into their lives. Speaking about what God does for them and what it means to them, because He is, if we don't have God, we can do nothing. We are nothing. And it's because of God's goodness and His grace and His mercy that we sit here today, that He made that connection between America and South Africa, and that we've walked this journey together. So thank you for who you are. And God is amazing. God is great and greatly to be praised. And I want to ask, is there anything you want to leave the audience with? Let's talk about, something that's upcoming. I know you mentioned something, so feel free to take the floor.
Yes. First of all, it's an honor to be inducted as the Entrepreneur of the Year in your group. I think that's amazing. That's quite an honor. So thank you for even the consideration. I greatly appreciate that. Number one. Number two is there are a couple of things happening just for people to kind of stay aware and keep your eye out for it. We have our next virtual conference. So it's called the Connected Leaders Academy Virtual Conference, Saturday, September 21st, 2024. So this year, and it's going to be amazing. We have our keynote speaker, Oric Quick, and we have 24 other phenomenal speakers. So if you want tickets for that, just check out www.connectedleadersacademy.vc, as in Victor Charlie, right, for virtual conference. ConnectedLeadersAcademyVC.com. You can get tickets there. Check out what's happening there. And then we have our global summit next year. 2025, we have our Connected Leaders Academy Global Summit 2025, and we're looking to 4X that bad boy. We want 1,000 people in the room. We had about 200 for the first one, amazing entrepreneurs from all over the world. We have 30 speakers, 3 celebrity keynotes, a banquet dinner, gala, award ceremony, red carpet, networking, mastermind, you name it. It all happens in a weekend. And we're going to do it again fall of 2025. Formal dates coming out soon. You can check out www.connectedleadersacademygs.com for Global Summit, gs.com for more information and tickets there. We do have really great prices right now because it's early on, but the prices will increase. And then lastly, I'd like to say my book, Winning the Day. So I have an amazing book that I wrote from beginning to end. It's a great book called Winning the Day, an Entrepreneur's Guide to Morning and Evening Routine Mastery, right? I did that about a year and a half ago. It's an amazing book. It sold tons, a bestseller. Check out the website for that, www.winningthedaybook.com. Again, winningthedaybook.com, signed personalized copies there. And finally, if you're an entrepreneur out there, if you have a business and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, you're looking to scale your influence, you want more authority in your industry and what you do, you're looking to move the needle. What does that mean? That means more clients, more leads, referrals, collaborations, essentially more money, right? And you want to build your business. Number 4, you want to develop your skill sets, right? Because none of us have arrived. There's areas where you're strong, and there's areas that you're still trying to figure it out. So you want to be a part of a community where iron sharpens iron. And then number 5, you want to grow your network and your circle, right? We all want to be around more people, heavy-hitting entrepreneurs. The Connected Leaders Academy is an amazing hub to do that. We are the #1 fastest growing networking group for entrepreneurs around, period. Nobody does what we do at the level at which we do it. I'm telling you right now. And I have a lot of friends that I support, and they support me, and that I have communities as well. Shout out to all of those people. You know who you are. But again, we have something very special going on here in the Connected Leaders Academy. So if you're interested in learning more about it, to see if you qualify and see if it's a good fit and it's a win-win, just go to my website, www.connectedleadersacademy.com. So connectedleadersacademy.com. On that website, you'll get some information about the CLA, who we are, what we do. And then you can also book a call with me. Book a one-on-one call with me, and that's where we can talk about it. We have real estate investors, attorney offices, coaches, authors, speakers, trainers, publishing companies, social media gurus, branding experts, martial arts school owners, restaurateurs, construction companies. I mean, you name it, the best of the best under one hub, changing the world, one entrepreneur at a time. So I want you with us. If you're an entrepreneur, reach out to me. I'd love to connect. Juanita, you are amazing. Thank you for how you serve in the Connected Leaders Academy. Thank you for how you show up as a human and as an entrepreneur. You are truly, truly inspirational in creating massive global impact, which is what I'm about, which is why we connected, right? And you've been an amazing friend for a number of years. And Thank you for all that you do. God bless you. And yes, I'm excited about all things to come because we're just getting started, aren't we?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Jose. That means the world to me. You're my family, and the CLA is my family as well. Guys, reach out to Jose and keep following him on social media and become a part of this amazing, amazing movement. Thank you for taking the time to be here, Jose. There's great things that we're going to do together still, and I'm excited for the way forward and for the future. And God bless everyone. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you soon, Jose. Have a great day. Bye. What a phenomenal interview with an amazing, amazing person, guys. Make sure you reach out to him. You can book a virtual coffee with him. I'm going to put his calendar link here in the comments. And do not procrastinate and say you're going to do it next week. Do it today. We are now going to go into our sponsors, thanking our sponsors and Meticulous Moments audience. I'll see you in the next session. Goodbye.
Baby, that was it. I want me cause I take two. I'm into it, figures the best of photos. I never know.
Yeah. My mind and I ain't no social activist. I'm asking this. Stay for a while now. Put the guns down, you can find another way. You can heal from your pain. Stay for a while now. Put the drugs down, you can find another way. You can heal from your pain.
Beginning, baby, that was it. I want me cause I take two. I'm into it, figures the best. There's no one like you. In the valley where the shadows cling lies a base camp of dreams where hopes take wing, but the summit calls out with a voice every night. It's the place where the brave and bold belong. In our hearts we've needed it all along. Now it's time to break free from the chains that bind. Search to the top, where dreams take flight. Embrace the unknown, no longer hide. Journey's not easy, but oh, it's right. New beginnings await, take your first stride. With each step we take, we don't care if we fail. No longer confined to the same trail. As we climb, we find freedom in our glorious tale. We wear authenticity like a badge of honor that always leads into breaking the mold, growing bolder every day we breathe. Search to the top, where dreams take flight.